Alright, here we go with another G.I. Joe review. This time I'm doing a G.I. Joe vehicle, and the vehicle that I'm doing here in this review is the Cobra Buzz Boar, and you can tell it's Cobra because it's got the nice big Cobra logo right there. Anyways, this is one of those little small vehicles that you could buy for like probably $10 or less back in the day. Real simple to put together, and really one of those kind of at the sort of the end of the original G.I. Joe series run before they started getting really strange. At this point they were getting strange, but they didn't quite get as strange as like they got towards the end, where they started getting into like the kind of space warfare and stuff like that. But they started cranking out these crazy kind of weird vehicles like this, especially the Cobra stuff, like this guy and the Pogo and different things that would just, you know, completely impractical if you ever stopped and really think about it. But as a kid, they seemed really cool and unique. At least to me, I always thought they did. But this one here is a small vehicle. It's you know, it's basically a big brick of plastic, but I always thought it was very cool. I like the ideal behind it. And for the price, it was one of those cheap toys that you could pick up, you know, fairly easily. Basically what this is it's a big buzz saw. And you know, that's hence the name, the Buzz Boar. So it was supposed to be something that could, like, I guess, burrow into the ground, or, you know, drill into the ground. And it had this big buzz saw here that would rotate around. Sadly though, the thing that I think they kind of missed the mark on was that it didn't really rotate unless you kind of did it by hand, and it's kind of stiff because it's just basically a ring of plastic that goes around it, and it's you know, it doesn't sit on there right to where that if you were to roll it on the ground, it would catch and turn. Maybe like on some carpet or something, it would probably do it. But it would have been nice if maybe they had some little like wheels on here, and maybe if you rolled the wheels, they were, you know, had a little mechanism in there that would actually spin this part. I think that would have made this a very cool toy, actually. But it's still kind of cool nonetheless. It's again, it was kind of, you got what you paid for. It was kind of a cheapo toy. But it does have some little missiles here, and they are removable. They're supposed to just slide into these little grooves here. So it's got two of these little, like, kind of orangish red kind of colored almost missiles here. It does have like some little guns here, it looks like, just kind of molded into the plastic there. If you turn it around to the other side, it does have a big cannon here that just kind of snaps on here, and you can kind of rotate it around. That's pretty much all you're limited to with that guy. And that's the other side there, and you can see there's a little Cobra logo sticker that just went on there. So here's the pilot's compartment here, and basically this door just kind of flips up. Kind of reminds me of the DeLorean from Back to the Future. The doors kind of just slide forward there, or like the Lamborghinis also at the time. But anyways, I got my Destro figure here, and you just put your little guy in there, and you know, you could have him controlling this guy or riding inside of it. And they kind of sit in there kind of funky, as you can see the head here kind of wants to hit. And with Destro, you kind of got to bend him in because his head doesn't really bend. Let's see if we can get him in there right. He's probably not the best figure to show this off because his head doesn't really bend. Let's see if I can get his feet straightened out here. There you go. He's kind of sitting in there okay. But, you know, there they go. It just kind of goes in. And there's some little stickers in here that you could put in there. But you just kind of close it up like that, and now it's ready for action. And the thing I liked about this guy, for me as a kid at the time, was the fact that I used to have a G.I. Joe guy, and I called him my fall guy because he was like the stunt guy. And I always used him for, like, you know, the guy who would always get messed up or blown up. Basically, I think it was a Wild Bill figure that I had. I never really liked Wild Bill as a character on the show. I just thought he was like annoying. But basically the little rubber O-ring in here snapped on him. So, you know, you could pull him apart. So I'd always have him lay on the ground and then run him over. And it would, like, you know, it was ripping him in half. So that was kind of cool. So if you ever had like a busted up G.I. Joe figure, this guy was a good toy to use because it really just made it look like you were sawing him in half. So yeah, you know, this is just a little kind of cheesy vehicle. You know, one of the mini that they had out at the time. Could probably pick it up fairly cheap on eBay or, you know, different online sites or wherever. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I like it. I think it's kind of a unique vehicle, definitely weird. And it's probably something cool to have in your collection, you know, your vintage G.I. Joe collection, as it were. Anyways, that's my look here at the Cobra Buzz Boar.